Oh, those storms yesterday. Whoo,
Incredible.
the damage after heavy winds. One of the most impacted areas actually in Ashtabula-County.
Yeah, there were winds that toppled a decades-old Ferris wheel. We're getting a history lesson, by the way, on this old, well, I don't want to steal his thunder here. The Old Firehouse Winery, Mark Johnson was tracking the storms, and he was telling us everything we need to know about this thing. What happened?
I mean, I used to ride that, the old number 5 Big Eli Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
And it was set up right behind Fireland's, the Old Firehouse Winery.
Right.
And $5 a ride, even up to yesterday. You could still go and ride that. It was all part of the Erie View Park. 1956 is when this was built. And there was growing up my childhood, Geneva-On-The Lake. There it is, toppled down behind the winery. That was the last ride left. I mean, there were lots of little kiddie rides there, like a little dragon kiddie roller coaster, a little tilt-a-whirl, all in Erie View Park. It was a little tiny amusement park at Geneva-On-The Lake, and very famous. Old Firehouse Winery up until yesterday, the only winery in the country with its own Ferris wheel.
Now, will that be able to be saved? I mean, from looking at it, it doesn't look like it.
It does not look like it. It was built in 1956 by the Eli Steel Company. It was the 5th generation of Ferris wheels from the original design from George Ferris from the World's Fair in 1891.
That's the name, Ferris wheel.
Yes, Ferris wheel, yes.
I know you said they're $5. They were up until yesterday.
$5 a ride, yeah.
I wonder how much they were when it opened 50-some years ago. Probably a nickel.
Probably a nickel or a penny. I know when I was a young wee lad, I mean, they were 50 cents a ride. I mean,
wow.
Yeah, absolutely. But that is an iconic scene at Geneva-On-The Lake. That's the last surviving ride there. And it's such a shame because I have so many childhood memories there.
A lot of people.
And to see that crumpled up, and I don't think that's savable, to be honest with you.
Maybe they can recreate it.
I think they could, yes. I think they could do something. Maybe they could keep some of the, the seating on it.
They're going to keep the seats and set them up on a patio and charge you $1 to sit in it. That's what they're going to do.
And the ride won't move.
That's right.
And if they haven't thought of that before, they just did, because that's what's going to happen, and you can.
Yeah. That had to be a good 70, 75-mile-an-hour wind gust, maybe 80 that took that down. In fact, right out in front of the winery, the telephone poles are all leaning over.
Jeez.
So that burst of wind funneled right through the roller coaster and right out to the street at Geneva-On-The Lake and just